Hi, I'm Carlisle Hersberg from Quick Connection, here with Business Manager Regina Polschmidt.
Hello.
Nice to have you.
Thank you.
So what is the name of your organization?
I work for the YWCA in Aurora, Illinois.
And what do you do there?
I am the business manager. So what I do is anything that is necessary to run the business. I do a lot of financial information, human resources, anything operationally that needs to be done, purchasing, those sorts of things.
And what other jobs have you done in the field that have given you this?
Well, after I graduated college, I started working at R. Donnelley & Sons Printing Company, and I started in corporate finance. So I did a lot with print contracts, profitability, analysis, those sorts of things. I then went into marketing at R. Donnelley, and then I went into sales at R. Donnelley. After that, I went on to Oracle, and I sold financial systems for Oracle, mostly to financial and services companies. And how that helped me in my current job is one of my big things that I was tasked with starting at the YWCA was to implement their accounting system, which was brand new to them.
So why did you go into this field?
You know, I went into finance because I really liked numbers. I'm just a math person. I liked numbers. I liked economics. I liked the whole how business relates to numbers, those sorts of things.
Were there any classes you took throughout high school or college that led you into this field?
So in high school, my high school was a lot smaller than this high school, so we really didn't have a whole lot of business classes to take, so I didn't have an opportunity to take those in high school. But in college, I started off as a general business major, so I took all my general business classes, accounting, marketing, those type things. When I got to finance, that's when I really decided that that was for me. That was the subject that I really enjoyed. And once I got into the finance area, then I started getting into more of the economics area. And so I took a lot of financial, money and banking, financial institutions, and then economics, micro, macro, public economics. And I ended up actually getting a double major in finance and economics.
And what college did you attend?
I went to Elmhurst College, which is in Elmhurst, Illinois. Very small school, probably about 3,000 people that go there, so smaller than Neuqua Valley High School.
Do you think the size of the school affected anything like towards your career?
Well, it actually did. They did not have a very good placement office at that point in time when I went to college. So after graduation, we were kind of on our own. But because it was such a small college, I had a lot of friends that already had jobs and were out in the field. And I happened to be at a friend's wedding with a mutual friend who worked at R. Donnelley. And it was because of that connection, she ended up getting me into R. Donnelley, and that's how I ended up getting my job. So using resources worked very, very well, and it was easy to do at a small school.
Is getting connections a large part of the job?
It is a very large part of the job. It's not only getting the job, but it's also interacting with other people. At my current job, I also have a lot of purchasing responsibilities, and you need connections and knowledge and people that do things that you never thought they did to kind of help you out in your business. So it is very, very important.
What are some of the responsibilities that your job takes?
So I do a lot of the financial reporting analysis. I do a lot of the accounting work. So I do a lot of payables, receivables. I'm also responsible for payroll. Right now is our biggest time for budgeting and forecasting because our fiscal year ends June 30th. So we're getting ready for next fiscal year. And then I also have quite a bit of human resources responsibilities. We are a very small association, but nonetheless, we still have to make sure we're compliant on human resources. And then anything operationally. So I have all the IT responsibility and anything else that requires building facilities.
Do you have any advice for people looking to go into this field?
Follow what you like to do. If you like numbers and if you like dealing with finance and you like reporting, it's a great thing to do. If it's not your thing, probably not the field for you. But there's so much that you could do in business and there's so much that you could do in finance that even though finance is a little bit of a narrow field, it kind of turns into other things that you could do. For example, when I started selling financial systems, I never would have gotten that job if I wasn't in corporate finance to begin with, because I'm trying to sell a system to somebody and actually used all of the materials in my previous jobs.
Were there any roadblocks you hit along the way?
Actually, there were. So when I graduated college, the year before, the market crashed, which made it a little bit difficult for finance majors to get a job in the field. So I had to use my resources very carefully and interview at companies that were financially stable. So that was a pretty big roadblock, but the economy improved, things improved, and everything went fine.
So the economy plays a large part in your job?
It does play a large part in my job, especially the YWCA is a not-for-profit, so we have to get funding from outside sources. So if the economy is bad, people aren't very willing to fund not-for-profit programs and services that we may offer. If things are good, people have a little bit more of a tendency to fund things.
So what were some of the larger accomplishments you've had in your job?
Probably my biggest accomplishment, when I worked for Oracle, I sold software, and I sold business application software, so finance, human resources, those things. And I actually ended up being the top national sales rep for one of the quarters out of the entire company. So that was a pretty big accomplishment. It was a tremendous amount of work, but it was also very, very rewarding.
Is this job like a very hard job?
It is a job that you have to be able to effectively manage, wear many different hats so you could effectively manage different parts of the business. So is it hard? I would probably term it more complex.
Do you enjoy going to this job?
I really enjoy going to this job. Working for a not-for-profit is a little bit different because you're doing good for a lot of people. You're out in the community, you're talking to community leaders, you're talking to any alderman or anybody that has a vested interest in the community. It's also a job that changes every day. Whatever I think I'm going to go in doing at the beginning of the day is usually not what I do at the end of the day.
As a high school student, did you ever have any thought of what you would do future?
I actually did. I was always interested in business, and so I knew I was going to go something into the business field. It's when I really started getting into college and start getting into some of the deeper classes in business that I decided I wanted to go down the finance path.
So in your field, do you think that there is a equality between men and women?
That is a very good question and a hard one to answer. I think it depends on what industry you're in, if there's equality between men and women. When I was in technology working for Oracle, I would say there is a lot of equality between men and women, and a lot of women in upper management. In the not-for-profit world, there is a lot of women in the field and that does a lot of work in not-for-profit. When I worked for R. Donnelley, it was a manufacturing company, and whereas there was quite a bit of women in management and throughout the ranks, I would say that it was probably more male-dominated than women-dominated.
Do you think there's a lot of job opportunities in this field?
I do think there's a lot of job opportunities in this field. I think times are getting better. I think that communities are looking to not-for-profits to make their communities better. And as such, I think more not-for-profits are going to start popping up.
So was there any other accomplishments that kind of helped your organization?
There are some accomplishments that helped. We got a lot of visibility working with the Alderman's office in Aurora, doing a thing called Community Dialogues, which was a dialogue on race relations and in the community. That gave us a lot of visibility with the mayor's office, different areas of the mayor's office, and it also enabled us to take our programs much deeper into the community that we probably wouldn't have been able to do prior to that.
Is there any way for people to find out more about the company and what they do?
There is. Technology is your best thing to use. So what we do is we have a great website, ywcaaurora.org, is to our local association.
How many years have you been working for the company?
Just about 2 years.
Have you previously worked in any jobs for like a long term?
My longest employment was with R. Donnelley coming right out of college. I stayed there for almost 10 years. It was a great company to work for. Enjoyed it a lot.
Is there a lot of room for improvement in the workforce?
I think there is a lot of room for improvement, more so when technology comes to play, because technology is constantly changing and constantly evolving. I think that's how companies could always improve on their message, their market, and everything that they do.
Thank you for listening. I'm Carlisle Hersberg here with Regina Polschmidt.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.